When I think about the word confinement, what comes to mind is prisoner solitary confinement, where the prisoner is made to stay without meaningful human contact for more than 22 hours in a day. Yeah, so hard, super hard to imagine. And glad that there have been some legislations banning the use of solitary beyond certain days, and this is because of the tragic outcomes such as paranoia, hallucinations, insomnia. I'm sure you're asking, what does this have to do with our careers? How did I come about this term, career confinement? I got a call from an old colleague last month. He's a very solid human being, by the way. And he wanted to just talk. He said he likes the way I live my life and how I always choose myself, how I make my decisions, and that most people talk about it. And he just wanted to know how I do it. And he mentioned what keeps most people down, what makes people stick to jobs or situations they do not like, and what makes decision making for them difficult. It was a long conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed speaking with him. And then after the call, this term came into my head: confinement, career confinement. I Google searched it, and whoops, there is actually something like that. There's actually a book written on this by Elizabeth Pearson. I have not read this book, but the synopsis says that today we are living in a gilded cage and have lost sight of our true purpose in the conditioning of a society that is ruled by material obsession. That success in this environment doesn't bring fulfillment, and we all need spiritual alignment. And without this, fear, doubt, and obligation to the lives we have created continue to trap us. I thought, wow, can we be in a career confinement and not know? More like we have just sort of blended in. And what are the signs of being confined in a career? I will be sharing with you what I believe are signs that you are in a career confinement. Four signs. Yeah. The first one is the feeling of stagnancy due to either a lack of growth opportunities or lack of fulfillment. And this is a feeling of being stuck in a rut. You know, you're doing the same routines day in and day out without any sense of growth or advancement. And it could also be that you've mastered your current responsibilities, you do it really well now, but instead of feeling accomplished, you feel bored, you feel unfulfilled, you feel like you still have more to give, but you don't know where to face. There is no excitement anymore, there is no challenge to keep you engaged, and you may start to question the purpose of your own work. This lack of challenge can lead to a decline in motivation and a decline in productivity, actually. I have been there, but I removed myself from that situation before it got worse. I say it all the time: I am loyal to my purpose in life and my growth. The situation sometimes can be super glaring, and you know that there is more that you can do. You want to do more. You have the ability, you have the capability to do more, but it's not coming. And then you talk to your line manager, and then he or she says, hang in there, we're working on something. Hang in there, we're working on something else. And sometimes it does go quiet on you. You already know at that point that you are in a stagnation. And sometimes in organizations, there are unwritten rules, unspoken words. You have to have that discernment to read the unwritten rules and to hear the unspoken words. Yeah, I remember speaking with a company lead at some point, and I said, I do not see a black being the FD of this company. If I go back many years, no black has ever taken that position. And it went all fluff on me, like, nah, we should not build a glass ceiling, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, I've not seen one till date. We have to be conscious of those unwritten rules. It's okay to want to break it, but it's also wise to know the number of years you want to commit into breaking that ceiling. And what we miss sometimes when we are in this stagnant position is that over time, it can take a toll on our mental being. You may start to experience feelings of worthlessness. You start checking yourself. Am I really good enough? Am I really living up to my potential? And this can contribute to stress, it can contribute to anxiety, because continuously you're struggling to find meaning and purpose in your work. When you are in this sort of situation, my advice always is that you should be honest with yourself and come to terms with the situation. And then you start exploring opportunities for growth and development. Whether that means seeking new challenges within your organization, within the same organization, or you start looking out. You could consider pursuing additional training or education, or you can consider a career change altogether. By taking these proactive steps to break free from this stagnation, you can reignite your passion for your work, for your skills, and then you can create a more fulfilling career for yourself. The second sign is a lack of work life balance. If a job leaves you with very little time or energy for things outside of work, such as spending quality time with your loved ones, pursuing hobbies, meeting with friends, engaging in self care, it's a sign that your job is encroaching on your personal life, and this may negatively be impacting your mental well being. You are always looking forward to the weekend. You are always looking forward to the next vacation. You're super excited to hear there is a public holiday coming in a week. You just need space to breathe. And sometimes, even on these public holidays, this weekends, this vacation, you're still with your laptop, checking emails, responding to emails, taking phone calls. This is a sign that you may be in a career confinement. On a lighter note, I remember at a time, I think it was during COVID, and we were preparing budgets. And of course, there were so many uncertainties surrounding the numbers because we weren't even sure how the economy was going to react to the aftermath of the COVID period. So we had multiple scenarios. And for some reason, this particular day, we had to work into the night. It was around 1 a.m. Yeah. And I was in a meeting with another colleague, and unconsciously, I was just talking. I didn't even realize it was that late. I was just talking, okay, so we can take 23 million euros and add it to this. Okay, in 5 years, I was just calling the big numbers. My husband had to come to meet me in the study, and he said, please lower your voice before somebody will think we have this kind of money in this house. I thought that was so funny because I just imagined that somebody actually comes in to get that money from us. Oh dear, we would chop between all on top of our deal money. So I think I'm done admiring that life. To be honest, I used to think that it was me, just giving my best, doing what needs to be done, irrespective of the time. But I'm just so done with that life. And I also think that if we run that life on a regular, we are in a career confinement. And it's always okay to justify, because I know that I also would justify such behavior. I would say, oh, it's just this one time. It never was just one time. It never was. I can justify it with, oh, this is me living my potentials. This is me. We can get all the reasons for it. I just want to always be reminded that there has to be that balance, or I have to continue to strive for that balance such that my work doesn't encroach into my personal space. I remember my brother sent me a video on Instagram a few weeks back where parents were asked, who will they like to spend dinner with? Dead or alive. Who would they like to spend dinner with or have dinner with? And they all went, Nelson Mandela, Kim Kardashian, Justin Bieber, blah, blah, blah. And then the kids were asked the same questions. Of course, the parents were not there. And the kids, all of them, want to just have dinner with their parents. When the parents watched their kids say they would like to have dinner with them, some of them felt ashamed. Some even teared up. In the world of these children, we are their celebrity. We can start today to think about this. We are not always helpless like we think. And always remember that you get what you tolerate. So you may start defining the boundaries. Don't say it's okay to work weekends when it's not. And also know that you can always change what is not working. Keep your CV alive. Keep enriching it with new learnings, new experiences, network, manage relationships. At the end of the day, you need a voice. And your voice matters in the career world. The third sign is the feeling of estrangement. This is the feeling that you do not belong in the organization. Some organizations are like cults, even if those directing the affairs pretend like it's not. You just cannot penetrate. No matter how much you want to blend in, they keep proving to you that you do not belong. And this is common in those old, in quotes, companies where people have been there 30 years, 40 years. They've been there practically for most of their career lives. And then you come in, newbie, you come in, and then you come in with humility. I'm not talking about those that come in with shoulder pads, But even at that, you're still not accepted. You can do all that you want. They will continue to prove to you that you're not part of us. You have to have a thick skin to say, guys, I'm here to stay. Before they start letting you. Not totally accepting you, but letting you. I remember joining a company at a time, and man, it took a while. I like to think I'm a sweet soul, tough but sweet. And with this combination, even for me, it took like forever. And to be honest, I never felt accepted. I just connected with those that I felt were genuine, because again, I can always see beneath the mask, And then with the rest of them, I just kept it strictly professional. And I believe strongly that when these things happen, one person cannot fix it. It's a culture thing. I think what happens sometimes is that you lose yourself in this space. Most people just play along, tell them what they want to hear, backbite to get favors, say yes when they really mean to say no, put their soul aside to get to that position or to get that recognition. You just become someone else, and you become misaligned to who you truly are. And then the last sign is if you have this constant anxiety and stress. Okay, I went to a military boarding school, Common Secondary School, Ikpaja, Lagos. And every time we were resuming back to school, I would have this anxiety. Like days before resumption, I would just become a shadow of myself, sad from within. I just itched to go back to school. And it wasn't really the work involved, like studying and all that. It was the regimented lifestyle. It was the trouble of our senior students. It was the constant thought of making it to bed each day in one piece. All this would just cloud me up and make me sick. And I didn't know my mother noticed this until one day a visitor just casually asked if I was ill. She responded, no, she's not. She's behaving like that because she's going back to school tomorrow. I think she must have thought at that time that it was a feeling that I would miss home, something like that. But it was so far from it. Anyways, imagine having this feeling every Sunday evening before resuming work on a Monday. Ouch. The feeling of, oh, not again. At a point in my career, I met a young lady who said that feeling was a constant situation every Sunday. And then on Friday, she comes alive again. I thought, wow. And I was working in the same organization with her. And at that time, I was always looking forward to coming to the office. So you can imagine my shock when I heard that. If you find yourself experiencing persistent anxiety and stress related to work, it is a clear indicator that your job is affecting you. You're constantly feeling overwhelmed, you're worrying excessively about the work, the people, and you just have this feeling of dread before work. It is a sign that you're in a confinement. Okay, after listing all the signs, somebody would ask, so what do we do? How do I get out? I just want light again. I want to breathe. One thing I always say all the time is that your CV should be a moving document. It should be on your desktop. It should never be tucked away into some folder that you cannot even remember. You must make sure that year on year, you continue to add value purposely to enrich your CV. Go for trainings, go for development programs. Don't wait for the organization to train you. I always say this, it's a big mistake. Don't wait, because then nothing stands you out. You have to constantly invest in yourself. Give your best at work and always be ready to make the move. Stay loyal to yourself and your growth. At the end of the day, it's about you and it's about the magic you can create for yourself, not just in career, but also in life in general. So, if you enjoyed this episode, I am certain you will enjoy my other episode. Please listen to one more. And when you do, hit the subscribe button if you're listening to this on YouTube. And if you're listening to this on other platforms, please follow the show. I remain Ade, bringing you 360 degrees consciousness.